I'm here today to answer at a public hearing any legitimate questions Chairman Comer and the House Oversight Committee may have for me. I'm here today to make sure that the House Committee's illegitimate investigations of my family do not proceed on distortions, manipulated evidence, and lies. For 6 years, I have been the target of the unrelenting Trump attack machine shouting, "Where's Hunter?" Well, here's my answer. I am here.
The son of President Joe Biden, Hunter Biden, defied a subpoena for a closed-door deposition today by House Republicans. Now, he did, however, give a fiery news conference, which you just experienced in the first clip we showed you. Hunter is demanding that his testimony be public rather than behind closed doors, which is what the GOP refuses to grant him. Now, Hunter Biden, I believe, has a good reason for wanting this deposition to be public. He's concerned that Republican lawmakers are going to leak audio out of context in the interest of making him look bad, and he would rather have the deposition air publicly so everyone can see the entirety of what he has to say and what he wants to testify. So the House Oversight Committee is now threatening to hold Hunter Biden in contempt of Congress. They're also going to vote on an impeachment. Well, they already did. They voted on an official impeachment inquiry into Joe Biden today, and they did in fact pass that. And so let's watch Jim Jordan talk about both.
Mr. Biden's counsel and the White House have both argued that the reason he couldn't come for a deposition was because there wasn't a formal vote for an impeachment inquiry. Well, that's going to happen in a few hours. We think it's going to pass. We think the House of Representatives will go on record with the power that solely resides in the House to say we are in an official impeachment inquiry phase of our oversight. And when that happens, we'll see what their excuse is then. They should have been here today, but once we take that vote, we expect him to come in for his interview, for his deposition. And frankly, we'll also, I think, look at contempt proceedings as we move forward.
Oh, goody. I'm sure that'll make all of our lives so much better. Now, they did hold that vote already. So that press conference that Jim Jordan had was before the House voted in favor of opening an official, formal impeachment inquiry into Joe Biden. And that's what the investigation into Hunter Biden is really about. Members of Congress, the Republicans who are going after him, don't care about him. They're trying to find some incriminating evidence through their investigation that would impact Joe Biden. That's the real target here, which is why they voted on opening that impeachment inquiry, even though they don't have a shred of evidence to show that Joe Biden engaged in any criminality or any wrongdoing. The argument that they're making is, well, the impeachment inquiry allows us to collect more information and do more of an investigation. But they've been investigating this since Joe Biden got elected and they haven't been able to find anything. So I feel that this is mostly a big waste of time. Now, Jim Jordan doesn't exactly have the best track record when it comes to cooperating with subpoenas. And so let's watch former Republican member of Congress, Adam Kinzinger, explain what I mean here.
Jim Jordan, in front of the Rules Committee, when we were talking about holding Steve Bannon or somebody in contempt, he said in front of the Rules Committee that the Department of Justice and the FBI should be the ones investigating Donald Trump. And that would be their role. Now, of course, he's against the Department of Justice and the FBI investigating Donald Trump. He's for the sanctity of the subpoena by US Congress until he's the one that gets subpoenaed by US Congress. And he also votes against enforcing subpoenas against people like Steve Bannon and against people like Mark Meadows.
Now, John, if I remember correctly, Jim Jordan, through the January 6th investigations, was also subpoenaed, and he decided to not cooperate with that subpoena. Am I remembering that correctly?
I don't know for sure, but if that is true, then you have, for the first time ever, identified a clear instance of hypocrisy amongst those of them. It's so stupid and time wasting. It is so, like you pointed out, that it's not going to help anyone. Look, honestly, I don't even think it has to for it to be a focus of theirs. if they were to actually reveal criminality of a powerful politician, but they're not going to. We already know how this is going to go. They have been investigating Joe Biden for literally years, and the best thing they have is that he loaned some money to Hunter to buy a truck, and Hunter paid him back. Like, that is the best that you have. Attack Joe Biden for promising to raise the minimum wage and then not doing it. Like, if you want something that could be effective, of course they're not going to do that because they have no interest in raising the minimum wage. You could make a list 100 things long there of things that are totally justifiable to attack Joe Biden on, but they can't do it because they agree with Joe Biden. So instead they have to make up utter nonsense, and also it serves a secondary purpose of helping to distract from Donald Trump's very real legal challenges.
I'm just annoyed that Republicans are putting me in this uncomfortable position of defending Joe Biden, who I've got very little love for. You get what I'm saying? And it's like
constant.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. Okay, so let's get to what Republicans have said publicly in recent days about this whole investigation. So if you're wondering why House Republicans wouldn't just take up Hunter on his offer to basically do this deposition publicly or the testimony publicly, that's because they're still floundering on the evidence and making a coherent case, tying Hunter Biden's business deals, foreign business deals, to Joe Biden, and Joe Biden allegedly enriching himself through those same business deals. And James Comer is apparently too afraid to even show up on Fox and Friends these days, let alone question Hunter Biden in front of the American people. Let's watch.
Listen to Steve Doocy over at Fox saying you don't have evidence. Listen.
If they have the stuff, the Republicans at this point don't have, they've got a lot of ledgers and spreadsheets, but they have not connected the dots. They've connected the dots, the Department of Justice did on Hunter, but they have not shown where Joe Biden, did anything illegally.
Well, he's had that position from the very beginning. I've quit going on Fox and Friends because of Doocy. He's the one guy on Fox that's been very critical of the investigation. I have my theory why. We'll talk about that at a later point.
No. Talk about it now. Tell me why you think Steve Doocy, a hardcore conservative Republican on Fox News, a veteran on Fox News, doesn't agree with your investigation into Joe Biden and says that there's no evidence incriminating Joe Biden. Talk about that now. Like, what's the ulterior motive here? It's so dumb. But I'm not done yet, because Nancy Mace looked a little nervous in a recent exchange with Maria Bartiromo. Let's watch that.
Can you identify any actual policy decisions that Joe Biden has made in response to getting paid for those policy changes?
Well, that'll be part of the investigation, but I know in public media reports going years back, there was some influence peddling in Ukraine.
But look, you know what, John? I do think that unfortunately, this hatchet job that Republicans are engaging in is working. Because I want to go to the polling here. So when it comes to the possibility of a Biden impeachment, here's what a survey recently found. This survey is from September, okay? So it shows that 36% of Americans say Biden should be removed from office through impeachment. 42% say he should not be, and 20% are not sure. 36% of the country believes that he should be removed from office through impeachment. Even though there hasn't been the presentation of any evidence incriminating Joe Biden. There's no impeachable offense, but it's like, it seems like he's engaged in some pretty shady business dealings. I keep hearing about it over and over again in conservative media. So yeah, let's impeach him. That's what they're hearing.
Yeah. I don't, that to me doesn't, in the absence of changes in that number over time, I don't even know what to make of this. If you told me roughly 1 out of 3 Americans want Biden to be immediately impeached, I would say, yeah, obviously. 1 out of 3 Americans think that they were trading kids in the basement of Comet Pizza. Americans are out of their mind, and they filter everything through a Fantasia version of their ideal political outcome. 1/3 of the country will believe literally anything you want. So I don't like, if that number has gone up by 10 points since last year, then sure, that's something. But I assume the vast majority of Republicans would like for Joe Biden to be immediately impeached.
Okay, let me give you some more. Let's go to the graphic right above that. When asked if they think the president did anything illegal regarding Hunter Biden, nearly half of Americans, 48%, now say yes, compared with just 31% who say he did not.
Yeah, but
I don't know, maybe that doesn't mean anything. I don't know.
But again, I would have to see, has that number gone up month after month after month as a result of the focus? Or is that just, hey, do you hate Biden? Yes, even you could formulate the question, hey, do you hate Biden in a bunch of different ways? Would you like him to be impeached? Do you think he did something illegal? A lot of people are not going to, they're not going to write a thesis in support of their answer. They're simply going to say, yeah, I don't like that guy. F Joe Brandon or whatever. So look, I think we understand fully the politics of why they're doing this. It is utterly pathetic that they haven't been able to actually pin anything to Joe Biden. And it's also comical that Nancy Mace asked if Joe Biden has made a decision that's been influenced by politics. She is floating in a sea of every one of her colleagues being influenced by the campaign donations that they get to do or not do things in politics. And she's like desperately trying to find one little thing in a spreadsheet to pin on Joe Biden. The system is broken and she is paid to pretend that she doesn't see that.
Totally. I agree with that take wholeheartedly. I am worried about nearly half of Americans thinking that Biden has committed an impeachable offense, even though they haven't seen any evidence of it. But that's where we're at. Yeah.
Thanks for watching. If you become a member, you get to watch all this ad-free, except for, of course, this ad. Still, hit the join button below.